Hello and welcome to the third video in the Forlorn Solo video series. In this video we're going to be doing our adventure stage, or setting up the next kind of area or town for our two characters to go through and adventure in. So we have childhood friends Joria and Myril traveling together to some distant woodworker or expert in prosthetics in order to get some kind of a prosthetic going for... I think I decided that she's missing one of her legs, or at least down from the calf about, which makes it so that she can't walk. So they've been traveling across the land, they're almost there, and this is going to be the kind of the last settlement, last area, before they get to their destination. So we're going to generate that environmental area around the town, we're going to generate the settlement itself, put in some points of interest and NPCs, and see where that takes us. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing we want to roll for is our environmental features. This will give us a layout of what the surrounding landscape is like, and what their kind of last day of journey into town is going to look like. Alright, so we are going to roll using the settlement generator in the Watcher's Guide, which can be found in the link below to the Discord. First step is going to be environmental features. So we're going to roll 2 or 3 times and see what kind of a picture it paints for us. What kind of landscape they're going through as they get into this last town here. So let's make that happen. Alright, first one. We've got an 81. 81 is going to be fields of flowers. How very beautiful. A nice sight. And the second one is going to be a... ooh, tangling roots. Okay, and then we're going to do the last one. Third one. Gray and cloudy. Okay, so I'd like to imagine that there's these large fields of flowers, on top of which there are these beautiful flowers. Underneath are these thick, tangling roots. If you try to walk through them, you might be tripping or falling over. And those roots are probably spilling out onto the road, over the road, like little bony fingers coming out. And then we've got kind of a gray, cloudy, overcast. It's kind of like one of those dark fantasy movies where it's just always overcast. Like this, the sun doesn't come out. So in this area, the sun is not very present. So it's gray and cloudy. Okay, there you go. Awesome. Okay, the next step is we're going to roll some unique features to the town. I think starting with 2 might be a good idea, and then if we want to add more, we can add more. The first one's going to be 95, which is glowing stones. And the next one is 78, strict laws. Okay, so we've got glowing stones and strict laws. We'll flesh those out in a sec. I think I want to roll one more, just because it's fun to see what else we can produce here. A 56 gets us ghostly blue torches. Okay, so we've got these 3 kind of prompts here. I kind of want to flesh those out a little bit and just get some more ideas. So we're going to go to the keyword generators, which are under solo and prompt tools. And we're going to roll 3 of those. Okay, so I feel like verbs might be a good one for this. So for glowing stones, we're going to roll a verb just to get some idea of what this means. 8 is accuse. Alright. Next one is going to be 26. Dedicate. Ooh. Okay, so we already have strict laws, so that verb accuse really pricks something in my mind of maybe they have a practice of using these magical stones to determine guilt. In some kind of there's almost like an inquisition kind of thing, and the magical stones, they hold it near a person, or the person holds it while they're under trial, and if it glows, they're guilty or they're lying, something like that. That sounds like a really cool idea. So we're going to do glowing stones for inquisitions. Next, we're going to do laws. We have strict laws, so I want to see how we can maybe get some more specific ideas for that. So this one, maybe I'm going to do I'll try a verb and a noun. We'll see what that gets us. Let's do a verb. So we have 97 for the verb. That is restrict. It sounds like on par for a strict law. Restrict. 90 straight for nouns is going to be woods, forest, or grove. Woods, forest, or groves. Restrict grove. Now maybe we're talking about the flowers here. Maybe there are strict laws concerning these flowers. They are sacred. You're not to go into the flower fields. Do not enter flower fields. Alright, so that's 1. But if you're in the town, that's not really super important. So we'll do one more. We'll get a 14 for the verb, which is teach. And the 49 gives us society, culture, or community. Oh, okay. So maybe there's like strict education requirements for children, and maybe educational both in terms of like actual, you know, maths and reading and stuff like that, but also maybe teaching them the proper culture and etiquette to get there, make sure that the kids are prim and proper and doing everything they should. Maybe it's a very, very strict society. Screw it, I'll do one more. We got 38. This is strict laws. We want to get a couple here. Is wish. And a 64 gives us idea, notion, or suggestion. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do another, let's do another noun. We got wish and 24. That gives us order, temple, or faith. Okay? So we've got a religious undertone here. So perhaps wish. I'm going to say a wish would be a good connection to, say, an offering, like a daily or a weekly offering, a wish, you know, wishing to the gods. So maybe some kind of an offering to the gods. So I'll just write like offering / service / like kind of, I don't know, the wish and temple faith order brings to mind to me kind of like a mass, you know, like a like a weekly gathering at the temple. Okay, so that sounds good. So there are strict religious requirements, there are strict educational requirements and laws, and then there is, of course, no one is to enter the flower field or disturb the flowers, and there might be some extra use of those flowers. We will find out later. All right, last one. Blue torches. Ghostly blue torches. What is going to be the thing there? So let's do another verb and noun. Okay. So for our verb, we have got a 41, which gives us reveal. Oh, reveal what? What are we revealing? A 60 straight. Reveal woman, maiden, or wife. Woman, maiden, or wife. Reveal ghostly blue torches. Okay, so maybe these ghostly blue torches and the glowing stones have some kind of connection. They could have a religious, like, connection to the religious center. Are these matchmaking? Is this a matchmaking ceremony, like arranged marriages where two people are set up, and the torches are what have to do with that? Reveal. Okay, that's really interesting, especially with Joria's supposed background in not being married or having some kind of backstory regarding not being married. So that actually might help us. I'll do one more noun. That is a straight 100. Crime, cult, evil, or sin. Reveal crime, cult, evil, or sin. Reveal. Oh, that's actually really. That. I don't know if we want to choose both of those things or just one, because we already have the glowing stones that reveal guilt, right? Hold on. If we were to connect the two with wife, you know, woman, and sin, and we're looking at kind of a more archaic way of doing things, this could be like a revealing adultery, maybe, or witchcraft. It could be like a witch hunt. Like, she's a witch. The torch reveals witches. Maybe the torch reveals witches, or hexcraft. People who oh, okay. That I'm getting. You know, it's all coming together. So the ghostly blue torches reveal users of hex magic, because hex magic is kind of restricted and feared in this world. It's the magic of witches, of sorcerers, right, of darkness. So we're gonna say that these ghostly blue torches reveal users of hexcraft. That's really interesting because we have the Inquisitors as well with the glowing stones. So perhaps they use the stones as a general means, and the blue torches are specifically to sense hex magic. It's kind of amazing what you can do with just rolling some dice and generating words. Okay, so next we're going to make some structures and services to flesh out the town, what's available here. I took the liberty of saying there's definitely a cathedral, like a temple cathedral, / inquisitorium, or inquisitor's office, right? We want to have that for sure. But let's see what else is in this town. So, Up first, we got a 44. 44 gives us a small inn. So perhaps with a small inn, there's not a lot of people that pass by. They don't need a lot of capacity. We might be out on the outskirts, where there's not a lot of traveling happening. Not a lot of sightseeing for these beautiful flowers. Next one is going to be 66. That brings us a herbalist. Now, perhaps, does the herbalist use the flowers? Oh, actually, let's figure that out now. I'm going to use in solo prompt tools. We have an oracle. So you roll 1d6, consider the chart, and we're going to see what it tells us. We'll roll a 5 on the oracle. That's a yes plus. So I'm going to roll an addition. So yes, they use the flowers, and 4, a previous choice, experience, or character becomes relevant. Oh, okay. So not only does the herbalist use flowers, but it is something relevant from one of our characters' backstories. Okay. All right, let's roll a couple more structures and services here. We've got another 0-0. Large city wall. So there's not a lot of visitors, and it seems maybe a bit fortified from the outside. Wonder why. A 96 gets us a Magus Tower. Okay, a Magus Tower. Now that's not to say that the Magus there's a mage there, but there is a tower. It could be an old relic of an old time. So we'll just say Magus Tower. That is relevant to our buddy Myril, who wants to study magic and possibly improve his craft. 6 gives us a pristine temple. See, we already had cathedral, but I'll just add on pristine cathedral. It is probably the biggest source of not income, but yeah, source of income, but also it's probably the biggest target of income in the settlement, meaning the money is getting funneled to keep that cathedral temple looking, amazing. Good stuff. Everyone's very religious there. Okay, we got a 14. A jeweler. A straight 70 gives us a butcher. Now, this isn't per se everything, unless it's a really small town, you can say like this is everything that the town has. It's more of prominent vendors, prominent buildings, things that catch your eye when you walk in, and perhaps also sites where there are prominent NPCs, which we'll be generating after this. Okay, last one, we'll do 78, an old graveyard. This is probably connected to the cathedral. Or maybe it's around the back, that kind of thing. Okay, cool. Very nice. So we've got a pristine cathedral / inquisitorium. We've got a small inn, a herbalist, a large city wall, a Magus Tower, a jeweler, butcher, and an old graveyard as some possible sites. All right, next for our settlement, we need to roll some nearby points of interest. Now, these aren't in the town per se, but they're nearby and could be sites for quests, for monsters, things like that. We've got a 26 underground lake. All right, an underground lake. That's interesting. All right, it could be under the town even. I don't know. We'll have to ask. All right, let's ask our oracle. Is it under the town or is it, outside the town? A 6, strong yes. So it's right under the town. There's an underground lake. Okay, next point of interest. That brings us a 56. A cursed island. Could one say the cursed island was on the underground lake? Interesting. Okay. And a straight 7 gives us an abandoned palace. Now, I don't know if this is a village or a city right now, but it has a large outer wall, so it would make sense that it would be a palace. Now, it doesn't look like it's used, right? It's abandoned. But there is an abandoned palace within the city wall, so that's interesting as well. Let's see if that one is outside of the city. Is this outside the city? That is a yes. Okay, so yeah, it's outside the city. Okay, so maybe the walls weren't a part of the palace. Maybe the palace was separate and the walls were made after the fact. All right, let's do one more. I think one more is okay. 43 brings us a forbidden barrow. Now, I'm not going to place that one yet, but I'm going to keep that one here in my notes that we can draw out, perhaps, if we're asking questions later. Okay, Forbidden Barrow. That's really interesting. So, burial site. Now, in our town, we know that we have a old graveyard. So, the barrow is going to be separate from the town, since they have a different, it's a traditional graveyard. So, the barrow might be by the palace. It might be somewhere else. It is an ancient burial mound, which is spooky, right? So, all right. So we've got an underground lake under the town with a cursed island at its center. That's really cool. We've got an abandoned palace outside the city walls, and we've got a forbidden barrow. We don't know why it's forbidden, but it might be related to these strict laws, right? Same law that restricts people from going in the flowers. Don't go in the barrow, you know? Stay away from the barrow. All right, next we're going to do local problems. So when you enter a town, usually they have other things going on besides the adventurers coming in. They're not really as concerned with you as they are with their problems. And this could lead to quests. It could lead to more challenges. It really helps, you know, paint a picture of what situation this town is in. So we're going to do 1d100. I think having 2 would probably be good here. The first one's just going to be a straight 2. We have a strange fog. Okay, we've got a strange fog. Now we've got a cloudy... It's cloudy to begin with, but now we've got kind of a strange fog going on. Okay. And we have a 75, which is... book burnings. I'll give you 3 guesses to who's burning books. Yeah. So we've got perhaps a religious kind of book burning here. Now, what books those are and what they talk about, we don't know, but book burnings is definitely a local problem. And I feel like we should do one more. You know, you always can just roll another one if you want to add to it. 69. Nice. Rising sea level, I don't feel like that would fit here, so I'm going to take a mulligan for that one. A 56 gives us an ill ruler. Okay, so whoever the mayor, the monarch is of this little city-state is ill. Oh, the ideas are churning. And because he is ill, control of the town has been passed to the religious leader. Oh, okay. That's yeah. Okay, I'm getting it going here. So I'll say ill ruler, and then we'll say what was Denethor in Lord of the Rings? He was a steward. We'll have like a steward of head inquisitor. Okay, yeah. Get into like a cool witch hunt, you know, religious, crazy guy subplot here. Sounds good. All right, so there are also some steps listed in the adventure stage portion of the main rulebook. So we'll just kind of go through that real quick and answer some questions to get some things down, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so first question: what is the approximate population? It seems like a bigger town, so I'd say it's probably like 400 people. That's not too crazy, you know. Yeah, about 400 is probably good. What industries would be present in this region? Now we have the herbalists using these flowers, and the reason they're using the flowers, I'd assume, just openly, but they must have license and permission to use the flowers. So these flowers might make up the basis of this town's main export, which could be why they are strictly forbidden to be tampered with. So we'll say the export or the industry would be herbal medicine, maybe, and then in parentheses we'll put flowers. So the flowers are some kind of herbal thing. I think that's the main export. Yeah, and I mean there's a butcher and a jeweler, so maybe those two. Do travelers regularly frequent this settlement? Is it on a main trade route or isolated? Now we established that there's only a small inn, so there might be travelers that come through, but it might not be the main road between, you know, big settlements. It might be off the way, so maybe not many people come through. What is the culture or attitude of the settlement? Somber, uptight, fearful? I would say like strict, by the books maybe, and religious. There's a lot of Angelas from The Office in this town. So if we want to attach our problems to the town somehow. So book burnings we have by the Inquisitors. And we already have ill ruler is attached to the steward of the head Inquisitor is ruling in place of an ill ruler. So that's kind of, we have that attached. Another thing we don't have is the strange fog. So we might want to give it an origin point. It's coming from somewhere. The main thing that jumps to me is probably it's coming from the Forbidden Barrow. Like it's around the barrow, and it will blow into town and kind of cover the road, and that's where it's believed to emanate from, is the Forbidden Barrow. So we'll say it's from there. Okay, so now we're ready to make a couple NPCs for the town. I feel like making 3 might be the best. We want to make them like prolific or large characters, and we can always generate more later. So the first character I think we should make is probably this head inquisitor, the steward. The steward who is the head inquisitor, who is ruling the town. That would probably be a good person to make. So let's start with him. We're going to jump to the NPC generator in the Watcher's Guide, and we're just going to do a couple rolls and figure out what he looks like, what his vibe is, and then we'll move on. All right, so starting with a name, we've got a 98. His name is going to be Mirik. It's a little close to Mural, so let's maybe roll out one more time. And 87 is going to bring us Odrin, or Audrin. Family name, Onamont. Odrin Onamont. Onamont. Okay, yeah, that works. I'll take it. Okay, so background, we already have Head Inquisitor and Steward. So we don't need to roll for that. What is his nature, I wonder? Obsessed. Obsessed with order? Obsessed with following the law, the rules? His drive is going to be 36, which is going to get us loyalty. What physical feature, I wonder? A 47 is going to give us twisty hair and beard. And we'll do a notable feature as well, which will give us 51, missing an ear. Now there is a chart here called Quirk that we didn't use for our PCs, but we can roll for this NPC here. Let's see if he has an interesting quirk. Straight 1. Doesn't get sarcasm or jokes. That makes sense as an Inquisitor. So he's not very funny, is what I'm getting here. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so now for stats, rather than rolling, usually it's easier just to kind of assign stats if they have a couple that you know they would be just by their nature good in. I'm going to say that Odrin has a +2 intelligence. He's not hugely smart. He's burning books, so he's obviously not that smart. But he seems to know his stuff a little bit. And then I'm going to give him a plus. One of his nature is his drive is loyalty, and so maybe I think willpower might be quite high. So we'll say +3 willpower. And he's also taking control of the settlement, and he seems to be a very influential person. So I think his strongest attribute is going to be a +4 to presence. Now we can roll an extra skill just to see if anything interesting comes up. That gives us a 22, which is animal handling. So animal handling, and then again, if he has ones that you're sure that he's probably skilled at, you can I'm going to add public speaking and religion. Yeah, I think that works. For Odrin Onamont, the head inquisitor of the Inquisitorium. Very nice. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. For this person, we are going to roll a background and then just slot them in however we want. So we'll say this one we'll go with the female this time, Priya. I'm gonna reorder that and say Pyria Boreshield. What is her background? Her background is a 96. That gives us pirate. A pirate? I don't think there'd be a pirate here. I don't think we're near the ocean. We'll do one more. Again, we can do 2 and then pick one. Okay, 18 is gonna give us gardener. Hey, she could be one of the gardeners that deals with these flowers. I'm gonna say flower gardener. Okay, her nature is a 29. Her nature is worldly, and she is driven by 66, which gives us addiction. Okay. Is she addicted to the flowers? The herbs? Has she got like a pill problem? I don't know. We'll see. Physical feature is a 61. Verdant green eyes. We'll do an outfit or gear feature for her. A straight 40 brings us a belt of empty vials. Okay, so she is a herbalist. Now, if she's using her own product, or she's a gardener, but she's addicted to that product, it would make sense that she has empty vials because she used them all, and now they're all gone. A 17 for notable feature. Oh, she's got a lazy eye. Okay, so she's got a lazy eye. And what's her quirk? Do a quirk for fun. A 99 is constantly snacking. For her stats, I feel like agility might be good. She uses her hands a lot. She might be good with precise movements, so being an herbalist. So say +2 agility to +2 intelligence. She's very well known. She knows her stuff about herbs and plants, so she's, you know, got that. So the addiction is gonna tell me that she's got low will, so maybe like a 0. I would do ±1, but it seems kind of cruel. You know, let's do it. -1 will. That's gonna come up if she has to roll. All right, so 2 agility, 2 agility +2 intelligence, and -1 will. That's her stats. She's going to have vegetation identification, and then we'll roll an extra skill. A 71 gets us brewing ales specifically. So maybe the addiction is not the herbs. Maybe it's a little bit of the hard stuff. That'll work for that. And then we've got our final NPC. Let's see what it brings us. All right, so this guy is name is 14. Aelric. Aelric what? 24. Stoneborough. Aelric Stoneborough. All right, what is Aelric's background here? Background. A straight 90. A courier. Let's do one more and pick. A courier or a 43. A paranormalogist. A paranormalogist? He might be here to investigate the barrow, maybe. I like that. That's really cool. That'll link into our barrow point of interest really nicely. His nature is a 67. He is very studious. That works. So he's constantly reading. Perhaps the book burnings are quite painful for him to witness here. So his drive is a promise. Interesting. He's driven by a promise to someone. What is the promise, I wonder? All right. How about a physical feature? 28. Curly white hair. We'll do outfit and gear. He walks barefoot. That's interesting. Not big into the whole shoes thing, I see. And then a notable feature, has the hiccups. So he hiccups. All right, how about his quirk? A straight 10 gives us an intense phobia. Now, the funny part of me wants to say that the phobia is of ghosts. To have a paranormalogist, it's like a very like nerdy paranormalogist who's come here as part of a promise to do something, or maybe him just being a paranormalogist, that's the promise, who's deathly afraid of real ghosts. Maybe he's never even experienced a real ghost. In the barrow might be the first place. That's funny. I don't know what his info. Well, I'll think about that. But he has an intense phobia. Okay, I like that. Let's give him a +1 strength. He walks barefoot, so I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it. He's a studious, so maybe a +4 to intelligence. He's very knowledgeable. You know what? Let's just say that +1 strength, +4 intelligence. That's plenty. He'll have a skill in paranormology, and we'll just roll him an extra skill to see what else he has. Baking. Okay. Maybe he wanted to be a baker. You know what? One more. Let's give him one more skill. Glass blowing. That's a very specific skill to have. He was an artisan, maybe, baking, and maybe his father and his mother were both of those things, and he learned both of those arts. Who knows? All right, so we've got 3 NPCs, Odrin, Pyria, and Aelric, and we'll make sure that they pop in somewhere. But yeah, excellent. So we have our environment, we have a settlement, which we have not named. We'll try to think of a good name here for the settlement. You know what? I will just make up a settlement when we play our first session. Okay, so we have the workings of our first stage of this adventure here. We've got an environment, the kind of surrounding topography or like the features of that. We've got a settlement. We've got the culture and what's going on in the settlement, some problems, the services and people that are there. We've got some nearby points of interest, and we are ready to go. So, I will just make up a name by the time I record the actual first session, but we have finished our adventure staging and our adventure seeds, and we are ready to take Myril and Joria into this town as they try to maybe garner enough money to get passage onward, or maybe they just need money for food. I'd assume If they're stopping in town, they probably need somewhere to stay and need to earn a coin or two in order to do that. So tune into our next video when we start in session 1 of our Forlorn solo campaign. If you'd like to take a look at Forlorn for yourself, look at the Discord link in the description below. That'll take you to the page, go on the resources, and the PDFs and Google Drive links are all there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm excited to get started with our campaign, and I will see you in the next video. See you!